Hello everyone, welcome to the online revision classes of Anjuman Islam's Anjuman Polytechnic Hubli. I am Abbas M. Siddiqui, Head of the Department of Mechanical Engineering. Dear students, in this session, I will be revising some of the important questions and important topics of the subject Power Plant Engineering of Diploma 6th semester. Before starting with the session, let me give you some brief introduction about this subject. This subject is totally a theoretical based subject, so we need not expect any analytical problems in this subject. So before starting with the actual subject, let me go with the marks distribution of the power plant engineering. So all in all, this power plant engineering question paper will be of 145 marks. 145 marks and you have to attempt only 100. So in total we have 6 units. In that, first one is introduction and economics of power plant, which has the marks weightage of 10, and in percentage it comprises of 7% of 145. Similarly, hydropower plant. Hydropower plant comprises of 30 marks. As you can see the weightage 30 marks. So this hydropower plant is very important chapter, dear students. Third one is thermal power plant. Thermal power plant comprises of 25 marks. Next, nuclear power plant and gas turbine power plants. This also has a weightage of 30 marks. So hydropower plant and nuclear power plant both together are 60 marks. After that, fifth unit, solar wind and diesel power plants has again a 30 marks. Then last one, plant safety and environmental impacts of power plant has 20. All in all, 145 marks. In that you need to attempt only 100 marks. Dear students, now let's begin with the first chapter, that is introduction and economics of power plant. This chapter is like bridge course to all the other 5 units. This connects all the other 5 units, in which we have the introductory part of power plant, like how the factors affecting the power plants and how the economical factors like cost benefit, then tariff analysis, all these concepts come under this chapter. Now the first question, define peak load and base load. Dear students, as the question itself says, we have to just define the terms peak load and base load. We need not explain the terms. If we go for the explanation, simply we are wasting the time. What is peak load actually now? Peak load is the maximum load utilized or consumed by a unit or group of units in a power plant, whereas base load is the minimum load produced by the or generated by the unit in a power plant. Similarly, second question, list the various factors affecting the operation of power plant. Factors affecting the operation of power plant means there are so many factors that affect the operation of power plant. You need to just list the factors. We need not explain the factors. If you go for explanation, again you are consuming time, and for writing the 10 marks you will lose the time. Question number 3, list classification of power plants. Classification of power plants is of 4 types, that is based on fuel, based on load, based on land, and based on the service provided. Question number 4, list the various factors considered for location of power plants. Herein you have to just list the factors which are affecting the location of power plants, such as land, fuel, then the topology, then the transport, which is should be useful for the location of the power plant. Coming to the fifth question, that is list the various factors affecting the operation of power plant. Factors considering for the location of power plant and affecting the operation of power plant is both different. You should not get confused with the both the questions. Similarly, question number 6, that is explain demand factor, load curve, and load factor. These 3 factors are similar to the peak load and base load. Based upon the peak load and the base load, these 3 demand factor, load curve, and load factor should be explained. Now coming to the second chapter, that is hydropower plant. Hydropower plant is a very basic kind of a power plant. Herein you do not need any fuel cost. Fuel cost is 0 in the hydropower plant, and as you have already seen, the weightage of marks for hydropower plant is 30 marks. So it is very important. chapter, and the questions are: list the essential components of hydroelectric power plants. Essential components such as catchment area, reservoir, surge tank, penstock pipe, then tail race, turbine, powerhouse, all those things. You just need to list the components. Second question: list the different types of hydroelectric power plants. Different types of hydroelectric power plant will be mini type of hydroelectric power plant, hydroelectric power plant. Then you have runoff river power plant, runoff river with poundage and without poundage, and last one is pumped up hydroelectric power plant. Third one is list the advantages and disadvantages of hydroelectric power plants. Dear students, here in question paper he may ask you to list any 3 advantages and 2 disadvantages. You need not waste your time in writing all the 5-6 advantages and 5-6 disadvantages. Instead of that, better go for writing 3 to 4 advantages and 3 to 4 disadvantages, or else it will be directly mentioned to answer any 3 advantages and any 2 disadvantages. This question can be expected for 5 marks. Similarly, question number 4, list the different factors to be considered while selecting the site for hydroelectric power plant. This question is similar to the first chapter question, but here factors considered while selecting the site of hydroelectric power plant. This is not the factors affecting, so you should not get confused with that. After that, explain briefly the necessity of storage and pondage. Dear students, storage and pondage are very necessary during the floods to store the water. In order to explain this, you need to draw. Even though they have not asked the diagram, you need to write the diagram, you need to draw the diagram, then go for the explanation. Explanation should be in point wise only. Don't go for para wise explanation. Next, we have explain mini and micro hydro power plants. Dear students, mini and micro hydro power plants are miniature form of the hydroelectric power plant, where the mini hydro plant is the hydroelectric power plant wherein the generation of electricity will be from 5 meter to 20 meter head, and in micro hydro power plant it is less than 5 meter head, and the generation of electricity will be from 10 kilowatt to 1 megawatt also, and micro it is less than 100 kilowatt. Similarly, question number 8, explain with a neat sketch the governing of impulse turbine. Dear students, governing of impulse turbine is very important topic. Herein you have a separate sketch for governing of impulse turbine, where you need to draw that governor, then piston cylinder arrangement, then oil sump, then your ram. This governing of impulse turbine is very necessary in order to control the turbine speed. Similarly, question number 9, explain with a neat sketch the governing of reaction turbine. Governing of impulse turbine is different and governing of reaction turbine is different, but the process would be similar to the but the actual process is governing. So the only the difference is the diagram, not the explanation. Now let me explain a simple typical example of the question. Explain a typical layout of a hydroelectric plant. Hydroelectric plant, this is the layout of hydroelectric plant, dear students, and its components are catchment area. This is the catchment area behind the reservoir, the actual river. The area before the storage of water is nothing but the catchment area. Then the reservoir, where all the river water will be stored. Then dam acts like the barrier between the reservoir and our penstock pipe. If the dam gate is opened, then only the water will be flowing. Then penstock pipe, here it is used to accelerate the potential energy of the water. Then forebay, then draft tube, powerhouse. Powerhouse consists of turbine, alternator, generator, governor and pump. Then we have spillway and surge tank. Dear students, water when collected in reservoir is flown through penstock pipe by opening the gate of the dam. This high speed, high potential energy water, when it flows over the turbine, it creates some impact on the turbine which may damage the blade of the turbine. That is known as water hammering. In order to avoid this water hammering, we go for surge tank here. there will be a surge tank which collects the excess water flowing in the penstock pipe. This excess water which is collected in the surge tank, again when the pressure is decreased, it allows the water to flow through the penstock. Again from the high pressure water from the penstock pipe directly is fed to the turbine, where it rotates the turbine or it drives the turbine, and in turn it is connected to alternator, or you may call generator, and hence the electricity is produced like this. The excess water from the turbine is collected to the draft tube and tail race, and hence it is flown to the river. Now dear students, unit 3, that is thermal power plant. Thermal power plant is a peak load kind of a power plant, whereas hydropower plant is a base load plant. Herein the important questions are: explain the various factors considered for site selection for thermal power plant. In thermal power plant, usually the fuel cost is high, because fuel we use here is coal, whereas in hydropower plant fuel is water which is abundantly available and it is free. So the factors considered for site selection factors considered, first factor will be availability of the fuel, then transport, the location, the site, the topology, all these factors, some more factors are there which we have already discussed in our regular classes. 8 to 10 factors will fetch you 5 marks. Question number 2, that is explain different methods of coal handling system. Different methods of coal handling system, we need to draw the sketch and explain in point wise. Again this question can be expected for 5 marks. Question number 3, explain methods used for coal storage. Again this has no diagram, only explanation, and this should be done in point wise only. Then question number 4, explain with a neat sketch chain grade stokers. Stokers are used to ignite the boiler, in which here the question asked chain grade stoker, chain type of grade stokers. Question number 5, explain with a neat sketch unit and central pulverizing system. Pulverizing system is nothing but the system used to crush the coal in order to use for boiling, firing the boiler. Pulverizing is to crush the coal. Question number 6, explain with a neat sketch ball mill. Again ball mill is also used for it is also used for crushing up of the coal and making it into small pieces. Pulverizing system and ball mill system are two different systems. You should not be confused with these two systems, whereas here pulverizing method is used, ball mill separate, ball mill will be there. Question number 7, make use of sketch, explain ash handling system. Ash is the residual of thermal power plant. In order to separate that with the other ingredients, we have to have a handling system. This is all of, you have to sketch this, you have to draw the neat sketch of ash handling system and explain in points. Around 8 to 12 points will fetch you 10 marks. Question number 8, make use of the sketch, explain electrostatic precipitation system. Again sketching and explaining in points will fetch you 10 marks. This question can also ask me for 10 marks. Now let me take an example and explain the coal handling system. Dear students, this flow chart should be drawn while explaining coal handling system. First one is coal delivery. Coal delivery will be done by the use of transport such as through roadways, by trucks, or by seaways through ships. After coal handling, unloading of the fuel, that is coal, then preparation, they crush it, they separate the dust and all the other unwanted particles and they prepare it. After that, after preparation, next one is transfer. They transfer it using conveyors. Then outdoor storage. Outdoor storage is very important thing here, because in order to dry the coal we go for outdoor storage. Then covered storage. Here heaps of coal will be covered through gunny bags or sheets in order to avoid the more sunlight absorbing it. Then in plant handling, after that weighing it and measuring, and lastly furnace firing. Lastly we use coal for furnace fire only. By drawing this flow chart and explaining each point will give you 10 marks. Dear students, next unit, that is unit 4, is nuclear power plant and gas turbine power plant. Here two types of power plants are explained together, that is nuclear power plant and gas turbine power plant, where nuclear power plant uses fuel such as nuclear uranium 235, then gas turbine power plant usually uses ambient air as the fuel. Let me go with the question number 1. Define nuclear fusion and nuclear fission. These two processes are different. You need not get confused with nuclear fusion and nuclear fission. Question number 2. Name the different nuclear fuels used for nuclear power plant. Here the different fuels may be uranium 235, uranium 233, then enriched uranium, then plutonium, uranium carbide. All these fuels should be listed. Then question number 3. List the components of gas turbine power plants. Here you have to only list the components. Gas turbine power plant uses the components such as compressor, combustion chamber, turbine, generator, heat exchanger. Then next is question number 4. List the advantages of gas turbine power plant with nuclear power plant. Here you have to compare the advantages of gas turbine power plant and nuclear power plant. 8 to 10 points you have to write. Then question number 5. List the advantages and limitations of open cycle and closed cycle gas turbine. You have to separately write the advantages and limitations of open cycle and advantages and limitations of closed cycle gas turbine. Question number 6. Explain pressurized water reactor with a neat sketch. Here drawing of sketch and explaining in points will fetch you 10 marks. This question can be easily expected for 10 marks. Question number 7. Explain with a neat sketch boiling water reactor. Again pressurized water reactor is different, boiling water reactor is different. Then question number 8. Explain briefly low, medium and high level waste disposal. Waste produced in nuclear power plant is divided into 3 types, that is low level, medium level and high level waste. That the disposal of these waste should be explained here. Question number 9. Explain with a neat sketch open cycle gas turbine power plant, and similarly question number 10. Closed cycle gas turbine power plant. Now let me take an example and explain open cycle gas turbine power plant. As you can see the components here, those are compressor, combustion chamber, turbine and generator. Initially ambient air is taken into the compressor and compressed to high pressure. The high pressure air is then fed to the combustion chamber, where it is ignited by using fuel. It is ignited by using fuel, and hot gases, high pressure, high temperature gases flowing out of the combustion chamber is fed to the turbine in order to drive it. As the turbine and generator are connected together, when the turbine rotates, the generator in turn rotates and the electricity is produced. The residual of the turbine is again taken and condensed. This is all about the open cycle gas turbine power plant. Next one is closed cycle gas turbine power plant. This is similar to open cycle, but the only difference is here heat exchanger and pre-cooler is used. In order to understand this, first we need to understand what actually the function of heat exchanger is. Heat exchanger increases the pressure and temperature of the ambient air that is taken from the compressor, then it is fed to the turbine. The residual of the turbine, that is the low pressure air, that is taken to the pre-cooler, where it is cooled and again fed back to the compressor. In all, this is a closed cycle gas turbine power plant. In open cycle gas turbine power plant, we did not have any pre-cooler, hence the name closed cycle gas turbine power plant. Coming to the 5th unit, that is solar, wind and diesel power plant. Here these three solar, wind and diesel power plants are renewable type of power plants. Earlier what we studied in the previous unit, they were non-renewable type. These are renewable type of power plants. Here there is no fuel cost is used. Dear students, the important questions of the unit 5 are: first one is list the advantages of wind power plant. This question can be asked for 5 marks. You have to just need to list the advantages of wind power plant. Second one is list and explain the types of rotors for HAWT. HAWT is horizontal axis wind turbine. The difference between horizontal axis wind turbine and vertical axis wind turbine is the axis of the blade of the turbine. You need not get confused with the both the axes of the turbine. Just listing and explaining the types of rotors will fetch you 5 marks. Then question number 4, list the advantages and disadvantages of diesel power plant. Diesel power plant, here fuel used is diesel only, no other fuel is used here. In diesel power plant, usually this is used for standalone systems. This diesel power plant has components such as fuel pump, filter, combustion chamber, that is the diesel engine, then the turbine and generator. This diesel power plant usually has high efficiency than the other power plant because it is used for only general purpose. Then fifth one, explain maximum power point tracker. MPPT, that is maximum power point tracker, is used in solar power plants in order to convert high frequency DC to low frequency DC. Initially, high frequency DC that is collected from the solar through the solar panel is converted to AC, then again AC current is direct, it is converted to low frequency DC. This is the explanation of MPPT. Then sixth one, explain with a neat sketch horizontal axis wind turbine. Seventh question, explain with a neat sketch vertical axis wind turbine. Here you have to sketch and explain in points. Question number 8, explain with a neat sketch wind energy conversion systems. Wind energy conversion system components are wind turbine, gearbox, brake and generator. You need to sketch this, explain in points. 8 to 12 points will fetch you 10 marks. It is very important question for 10 marks. Question number 9, make use of the sketch, explain the layout of diesel power plant. This will be explained in the next slide. Question number 10, make use of the sketch, explain the various components of diesel power plant. Various components of diesel power plant, as I have already said you, the fuel pump, filter, then you have combustion chamber, that is engine, then we have lubricating system, then generator, turbine, that's all. Question number 11, make use of the sketch, explain working of diesel power plant. Again, the sketch of components of diesel power plant should be drawn here also and explanation should be done. Dear students, this is the general layout of solar power plant. Here, as you can see, sun rays is directly taken and absorbed into a solar cell. Solar cell absorbs the sun rays and it converts the solar photons into electrons. These electrons are in the form of DC current. Here MPPT will be present, that is maximum power point tracker, which converts high frequency DC to low frequency DC, and it is taken to the inverter where again it converts DC to AC and the load will be connected here, either TV, bulb, fan, any load. Remaining of this DC current is stored in the battery for the future use. If subload is required for the power plants, then it can be taken from the solar power plant. This is the explanation of the general layout or the working of the solar power plant. This is the layout of diesel power plant. Dear students, as you can see, unit 1, unit 2, unit 3. These three are separate diesel generators, DG sets, and this is the general layout of a office. This is hall, office, switchboard, washroom, storage and repair shop. As I have already said you, diesel generator or DG sets are used as a backup system, not as the regular electricity. Our last unit, that is unit 6, is plant safety and environmental impact of power plant. Here question can be asked for 5 marks and 10 marks. Most asked questions will be on the topic global warming, then greenhouse effect, then air pollution, acid rain, wet deposition, dry deposition and noise pollution. The first question is, list the methods to control the global warming by power plants. Second question, explain about acid precipitation, acid rain and acid snow. Question number 3, explain about dry deposition and acid fog. If you understand actually what is acid rain, you can easily write about dry deposition and acid fog. Then fourth one, explain briefly about greenhouse effect. Greenhouse effect and global warming are interrelated, that will be explained in the further slides. Question number 5, explain the various water and air pollution caused by thermal power plants and its control. Question number 6, explain briefly about high level waste and their disposal. High level waste usually from the nuclear power plant and thermal power plant. You have to explain the waste from these two power plants. Then question number 7, explain the various measures to be taken by power plants to avoid noise pollution. In order to avoid the noise pollution, what measures the industries or the power plant takes, that you have to explain. Dear students, now we will study about greenhouse effect. To know about greenhouse effect, let's go to our schoolings, the basics of Earth, Sun, planet, that is universe. Earth is the third nearest planet to the Sun, where the other two planets, they feel either scorching heat, and the other planets which are away from the Sun, they feel bitterly cold. Now, how come Earth has so stable temperature? It is because of atmosphere. Atmosphere is the thin blanket of air which surrounds the Earth from all the sides. It surrounds the Earth from all the sides. Atmosphere is the mixture of gases. Gases like carbon dioxide, sulfur oxide, then nitrogen, oxygen, so many things. This atmosphere, for example, umbrella. Umbrella protects us from sunlight and rain. Similarly, atmosphere protects us from the harmful rays of sunlight which fall on the earth's surface. As you can see in this picture, the rays, these rays usually may be ultraviolet rays or infrared rays. Ultraviolet rays, they hit onto the earth, they pass through the ozone layer. These layers are ozone layer. Over that, atmosphere will be there. As these ultraviolet rays, infrared rays and visible rays hit onto the earth's surface, they penetrate through the ozone layer. Some of them reflect back to the space, but especially infrared rays, they try to penetrate to the they try to penetrate through this ozone layer, and due to the depletion of ozone layer, they hit back to the earth. This creates the warming of the earth. The gradual increase in temperature is nothing but the greenhouse effect. These are caused by greenhouse gases such as chlorofluorocarbons, carbon dioxide, sulfur oxide, etc. Now, the gradual increase in temperature is nothing but our global warming. Every year we observe an increase in temperature of 4 to 6 degree Celsius, that is global warming. What are the effects of global warming now? These global warming causes the rise in level of oceans, seas, rise in temperature of the earth. They also affect the melting of ice in the Antarctica ice caps, and also it affects the human being through their health. Now, how we can prevent this global warming? Prevention is very simple, guys. It's all dependent on our human beings. We have to adopt the concept of going green. We have to stop deforestation, that is, we have to plant more and more trees. We have to stop burning fossil fuels, then that is adopting automobiles that run through the electricity. Then we have to reduce the greenhouse gases generation. We have to increase the chimneys of the industries which give out toxic gases to the earth's atmosphere, and using more renewable energies such as solar, wind energy. We have to shift to the renewable energies. This is all about greenhouse gases and global warming. Next, we will look into acid rain. Acid rain or acid deposition occurs when sulfur dioxide, that is SO2, and nitrogen oxide NOx react in the atmosphere with water, that is H2O and O2, oxygen, and other chemicals to form various acidic compounds such as HNO3 and H2SO4, that is sulfuric acid. Then the acids fall to the ground from the atmosphere in wet or dry forms. This can include rain, snow, fog, hail, or even dust. This acid which fall on the earth's surface will be either of wet deposition or dry deposition. As you can see in this picture easily depicts the formation of acid rain. The toxic gases such as sulfur oxide, HNO3, they go to the atmosphere, they react there and fall back to the earth in the form of acid rain. Now, there are two types of deposition of acid rain on earth. First one is wet deposition. When acidic materials falls from the atmosphere to the ground in wet form such as rain, snow, sleet, hail or fog, then it is called wet deposition. Similarly, dry deposition, when acids deposit on the earth's surface in a dry form such as dust or gases, then it's called dry deposition. This acid rain is measured in terms of pH value. Usually the pure water has a pH level of 7 and water which is drinkable has a pH level of 5.2 to 5.4. But the acid rain has a pH value from 4.2 to 4.4, which is very harmful, dear students. Due to this acid rain, the pale yellow color is formed on the monuments such as Taj Mahal and so many wonders of the earth. And it also affects the aquatic animals. It actually kills the aquatic animals present in the ocean, seas, rivers, and also it affects the human health. It may cause asthma is caused because of dust, then lungs diseases, we may get skin cancer. So this is all about the our acid rain. Now I am going to show you a simple model question paper of power plant engineering. Dear students, this question, our final examination question paper has two parts, that is part A and part B. Part A contains 9 questions. In that we have to write any 6 and each question carries 5 marks. All these important questions are been already discussed in your previous section. And part B contains a total of 10 to 19 questions, that is 9 questions, and each question carries 10 marks. In some questions it will be split up 5 marks each, like for example 15A and B. If you are going to write only 15A and trying to attempt 17A, you won't get marks. For that, if you are expecting to get 10 full marks, then you have to write complete 15A and 15B. This is all about the question paper. Dear students, hope this video has helped you in large extent in preparation of your examination. The only expectation from us to you people is now to work hard, study properly and write the exams sincerely. With this, I conclude my revision class. I would like to thank management, our beloved principal and especially the technical team for providing this opportunity to reach you people during this lockdown. Stay home, stay safe and stay healthy. Thank you.